Hey everybody, welcome to an editorial. I haven't been on this channel in a minute because I've been pretty busy. And at the time of recording this, it's been a week since I've been back, but I wanted to talk about like what I was doing and where I've been. So I spent a week in Italy. That's exciting. My first time traveling outside of the United States. And, you know, I didn't want to make that like content. But I did take some pictures and some videos and stuff. So I wanted to like make an editorial just kind of talking about my trip. Because I wanted to share my experience with everybody. So the first thing you may be asking is like, why did I go to Italy in the first place? And the reason I went to Italy in the first place was for one of my best friends. You should know him if you watch Turbo Zone. Majora T, that's right, Teddy. And I won't talk too much about what I went there for. I will say that Teddy got married. So one of my days was taken up by the wedding, which was amazing. But I really don't want to talk about, like, go too much in detail with the wedding or with that, because that seems too personal for me to, like, make into a video like this. Like, that's on him. If he wants to talk about that at some point, that's great. He can. I want to give him that freedom to do that. But I'll throw in some little details here or there. But so yeah, that's why I was going. So I left on, I think it was the 23rd, which was a Saturday. I left Kentucky, and I had a long flight. I went from Kentucky to Detroit. And then from Detroit, I had I think it was like an 8-hour flight from Detroit to Paris. Which was insane because I think when I was leaving Detroit, it was like 10 o'clock our time. It was dark, and then where I was going back in time or forward in time, however it worked. Essentially, like when it was like 2 in the morning our time on that flight, the sun was up. And my brain was just all scattered. I was like, whoa. It was crazy. So I actually ended up not sleeping Saturday because of that reason. I just powered through. So I made it to Paris, and from Paris I flew to Florence, Italy. And Teddy picked me up. And yeah, I was surprisingly not as tired as I expected myself to be. And that night we didn't really plan for much that day. I got to the hotel, I changed, freshened up, we went and we had dinner with his family. It was nice, and that was basically it for the first night. Now the first day I was there was that Monday. We got up and we had planned a bachelor party for Teddy, which was great because it was in downtown Florence. And we did like a food tour. Me and the other groomsmen planned a food tour. So we got to actually walk around with a guide. And she mainly focused on like street foods, which was cool because again, you're like walking around downtown Florence. So we got to try a few different street foods. We also got a wine tasting, where I was in Florence, and then we were staying in Empoli, which is like a town right outside of Florence. So Empoli and Florence was where I spent most of my time, and that's in Tuscany, which is known for their wine. So I will say while I was there, I had a lot of wine, and before I went, everybody kept asking me like, "Are you gonna drink wine while you're there?" Like, I bet the wine's gonna be really good. I'm not really a wine fan. Like, I've never been a wine drinker. And you know, while I was there, I had plenty of wine with meals, with tastings, you know, I had plenty of time to like try different wines while I was there. And I will say that I'm still not a wine fan. And if drinking wine in Tuscany doesn't sell me on wine, maybe it's just not for me, right? So yeah, we did do a wine tasting. We had some other alcohol as well. Of course, it's a bachelor party, you have to. So we did go to a bar that was like part record store. We actually stumbled our way into a Michelin star restaurant, which was confusing, like how we even got in. Maybe it was because it was a Monday, and it was maybe a slower day for them. But yeah, we actually did get into a Michelin star restaurant, which was cool. Had a really good steak while I was there. Yeah, and you know, I didn't know any of the other groomsmen. The only people I knew going in on this trip was Teddy and his bride. So, yeah, I didn't know any of the groomsmen, but we all got along. It was a great time. You know, I forgot to say that morning before the bachelor stuff, I got up at the hotel. I had some free time in the morning. And next door, there was a grocery store. And this was like my first moment of, I guess you could say, culture shock, because again, I've never been outside of the US. So, you know, during my stay, whenever I was in Florence, where it's like a very touristy area, everyone spoke English. Whenever I was at Empoli, it was the opposite. The hotel staff spoke English. But when I went out to other places around the hotel, they didn't really speak English. So that was my first like bit of culture shock that first day, as I went to the grocery store just to buy a few things. Like I wanted to buy some drinks and snacks for my hotel room. And I was getting a few things. Like I got some lemon Schweppes and some biscotti. And I went to check out, and I was at the self-checkout thing. And here in the US, whenever you use a self-checkout, I think it usually goes left to right. I think it's usually like you put your items here, scan it, and then you put them on like the scale / bagging area, right? Well, apparently it was like the opposite way, but I didn't know that. So I was like trying to like go from left, scan it, and put it in the right side. And apparently I had to go from right, scan, put it in the left side. And the machine started, the like self-scan started going off, and I was like, oh no. And then one of the workers came over and just started like rattling off something in Italian to me, like super fast. And then like looked at me, and I was like, okay. Like, and then they just walked away. So I was like, thanks. But like, yeah, that was my first moment of like, oh yeah, I forgot people don't speak English here. That's not really their language. So that's something I had to adapt to. That, you know, if I really thought about it before I went, I should have maybe learned some more Italian phrases, and I did pick up a few while I was there, but I should have maybe learned a little more. But at the same time, I think I got through without it, so it's fine. So yeah, so the second day we did a wedding rehearsal, and then we did the rehearsal dinner, which was great because again, I didn't know anybody on this trip except for Teddy and his bride going in. So that did make for some like awkward situations for me where there were points to where I was like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, you know, like when I first got there, like that morning, Tuesday morning before the rehearsal, I was like on my own. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like I had to find ways to like entertain myself. So that morning I actually walked down the road from the hotel just to see like the shops and stuff. And I did find a coffee shop. It's in my fridge. I don't like, actually hold on, give me 1 second. There we go. I found this coffee shop that they weren't, like, it wasn't like a coffee shop. They just sold espresso, They were like an artisan, like coffee manufacturer. And I walked in and I asked the lady, I was like, parlay inglés, to see if she, if she spoke English. She was like, a little bit. So I actually ended up just talking to her through Google Translate, which worked. And I got her to tell me which of the espresso that they sold was her favorite, and I bought a full bag of espresso. I love coffee, so I knew that I had to get some espresso. It is Cafe Leonardo. That was the shop. So I haven't had this yet, and I'll explain why, but I do have it here ready to go because the coffee while I was there was like the best espresso I ever had. So I definitely wanted to bring a bag home, which surprisingly, like, customs didn't really care. It was very strange. When I came back through, I had to go through customs, and the guy was like, "Do you want to claim anything in your bag? Like, did you bring anything?" And I was like, some coffee." I was like, "I brought a pound of coffee from Italy." And he was like, "Okay." That was it. So they scanned my bag and everything. They didn't care about this. So I was surprised. I was expecting to get like stopped and being like, "Sir, what is this?" So yeah, I did buy this that morning. But yeah, where I didn't know anybody, I had to find ways to entertain myself. I think this is like, during the first night, the bachelor party, I did make friends with the groomsmen, but this night, I think it allowed me more time to socialize because during the rehearsal dinner, my fucking phone, hold on one second. During the rehearsal dinner, I didn't know anybody. Teddy and his bride were off talking to everybody. Of course, they're going to be talking. They're busy. They're getting married, so everyone wants to talk to them. So I was like, well, I can't like bother them all night because they're going to be doing that. So I essentially just kind of met up with some of the guys that I met the previous night. Talked to them, and then one of the groomsmen who couldn't make it to the bachelor party, and he's the only one I will name by name because I asked him ahead of time. Teddy's friend Boland showed up, and so I ended up actually just spending most of the night talking to Boland. Me, Boland, and one of the other groomsmen, we just chatted up the whole night and eating food and drinking drinks. They had an open bar. So I had a lot of alcohol. That is a common theme on this trip. I had a lot of alcohol in general on the trip. So yeah, we ended up hitting it off, me and Boland. It was pretty chill. So it was nice to have somebody else there that, like, I don't know, I felt like I could really like talk to while I was on this trip because, like, I traveled outside of the U.S. essentially by myself. Like, yeah, I did meet up with Teddy while I was there, but I knew for most of the trip Teddy was going to be busy with wedding. The guy's getting married. Like, yeah, he doesn't have time to entertain me. He's got a lot to do. So it was nice to make friends with somebody while I was there because, it gave me somebody else that was sort of in the same boat as me. So yeah, that was great. The next day was the wedding, and I'm not going to show wedding photos because, again, that feels too personal for me to do here. So I will show this photo of all the groomsmen. We all looked awesome. Teddy and me and the rest of the groomsmen looked amazing. So I will show that, but I'm not going to show anything else about the wedding or really talk about it too much. I did hang out with Boland during the wedding, and we after the ceremony, we hung out during like the dinner, and they had a dance and everything else. It was awesome. So it was nice to again have somebody I can kind of hang out with during that time. I do want to tell this story though, that after the wedding, some of us, like 12 of us, decided to go back to the villa that some of them were staying at. I didn't stay at the villa, I stayed at a hotel. So some of us went back to the villa, and we were all drinking, and like a lot of us had been drinking a lot. I was drunk. Like I was sloshed by that point. And we're all sitting around, and we mentioned, I think it was me and Boland, or me and Teddy. I don't know. Teddy was there, Boland was there, I was there, then some other people. And we mentioned McDonald's, because they had a McDonald's, which, yeah, I did order McDonald's. There is a review up on, it's not up yet, but it will be up on the Button Mappers as part of Game Talk tonight. So I mentioned McDonald's, and everyone was like, yeah, this is like 3 in the morning. Everyone's like, yeah, McDonald's. So me, Teddy, and Boland decide at 3 in the morning to load up and go to McDonald's and get everyone McDonald's. So here we are, 3 Americans at 3 in the morning going to an Italian McDonald's, and we pull up, and Teddy asks the person in the drive-thru, he's like parlaying glass, so that somebody comes over that can speak English. And Boland asks them, like, hey, what size do your chicken nuggets come in? And the person on the drive-thru was like, you know, 3, 5, 10, 20. And Boland's like, oh, great. Yeah, we'll take 6 20-piece nuggets. So we ordered 120 nuggets, and then we got 10 large fries and like 6 cheeseburgers at like 3:30 in the fucking morning. And I know that McDonald's staff had to be pissed off. Like, these fucking Americans coming in here ordering this shit. We were dying out in the car. So we were just waiting for them to come deliver the food after we went up and paid through the drive-thru. And I don't know why, just like the idea that like we had spent because like the wedding was really well put together. It was really classy. The food was amazing. The alcohol was amazing. Like, you know, everyone was still dressed up though. So the idea that we had spent the entire day doing that, and then just for it to devolve to us at 3:30 in the morning ordering 120 chicken McNuggets, that is one of the funniest that, like, I tell people all the time, like, yeah, I ordered 120 chicken McNuggets in Italy. Like, that's hilarious. So yeah, I like that story a lot. Where I had become really good friends with Boland the next day. Thursday was the day that I didn't know what the hell I was going to do that day. So I knew that Teddy was going to try to meet up for dinner. So the rest of the day I was like, what am I going to do? So Boland actually was leaving. He was staying at the hotel I was in, and then he was moving to a hotel in Florence. So I was like, hey Boland, I was like, can I like hang out with you? Like, can I come with you to Florence and hang out? And then Teddy will meet us for dinner, and then I can come back with Teddy. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I did do that. We went to downtown Florence. He checked in, and then he was like, hey, can you give me like an hour or two to like settle in and stuff? He was meeting his family there, so I was like, okay. So I walked around. I got a coffee and a pizza at the cafe there. At the hotel, which was really nice. And then I walked around.
Hey everybody, just recording a bit of a vlog. It's loud here, I know. I am in Florence, Italy. Very nice place. And I am going to see if I can find, I have a day today where I'm on vacation. I have a day today where I can just kind of walk around. So I'm going to see if I can find any interesting shops. There's a game store I want to look at, and then we're just going to look around. So I'm going to record some of what I find. Yeah.
And I found a game store, and let me see if I can pull up the name of the game store here so that I can, because I think it might still be on my Google Maps. Let's see. Recent history. It was just called Retro Game SNC. I don't know, but it was in downtown Florence. I walked there, and it was cool because, like, again, people in Florence, most of them know English because it is a very touristy area. I walked to this game store, and I have footage of me going to the game store and going in and stuff. And I talked to the owner, whose name I didn't get, and I'm sorry. I know he subscribed, so I'm sorry I didn't get your name. put a comment or something, man. You know, the store had a really good selection. I was a little out of my element because buying games outside of the US, you know, like he had some cool stuff that I wanted, like some 3DS games and stuff. Those aren't like those games are region locked, so I couldn't buy them, sadly. So I stuck to stuff that I knew would play if I bought them from over there, which were PAL versions or some other versions, and I'll show you what I bought in a minute. And he was talking to me while I was in there, and I was telling him that I do YouTube, and we were chatting up for a minute, and he showed me some like cool games he had. Like he showed me one 2600 game that was like a fishing game that looked like Fishing Derby, but it wasn't Fishing Derby. I had never seen it before, so I was really interested in that. And then he showed me a Hong Kong like a bootleg Game Gear game that was a copy of Alex Kidd and Shinobi World. So that was really cool. Yeah, the store itself was very well stocked, and I liked his selection a lot. And if I had thought about because I packed pretty light for this trip, so if I had thought about leaving more space to bring stuff home, I would have shopped around more while I was in there and bought some more stuff. But I did buy some games, and here's what I bought. So I bought a Master System version of Shinobi, because I do have a Master System. I think I have a total of like 8 or 9 games for it. I haven't collected too hard for it yet, but I bought it a couple of years ago. So this one I knew I wanted. And then I bought some Sega Saturn games. The rest of them are all Sega Saturn games, so we'll go through with these. I bought 3 Japanese games. I bought... The first one is CG Portrait Series Volume 9 for Virtual Fighter. It's of Kage. They did these in Japan. They have a bunch of different volumes. And I own everything else Virtual Fighter, so I thought at some point I need to start collecting these. And they're pretty cheap. I got Grand Chaser, which I actually have the US version of this. Because the US version is Cyber Speedway, which is almost like a Wipeout style racing game. But I really like the artwork and stuff for this, and the name Grand Chaser. So even though I already had it, I wanted to get it again for that reason. And then I bought Blue Seed, which I bought for the artwork alone. I don't know much about this game, but it looks pretty freaking cool. So this is one that I will be trying to play. It looks like an RPG, and it's going to be all in Japanese, of course, but I can translate it, so that's fine. I have other Saturn RPGs that I have done that way. And then my favorite thing I picked up was my first ever PAL Sega Saturn game. I got a copy of Sonic R. And man, the PAL cases are fucking nice. I didn't know the PAL cases looked this good. Let me pop this guy open. Yeah, look at this. This beats the hell out of our fucking long box cases. So yeah, my first PAL Sega Saturn game. I didn't have a copy of Sonic R yet, so I thought that would be a fun one to grab. Plus, the Sonic R soundtrack was like a reoccurring thing during the trip for me and Teddy, so yeah, good pickup there. So I was happy with those. Again, I didn't have a lot of space, but between that and the coffee, I didn't have a lot of space to bring stuff home. And it's kind of hard for me to talk, and I'll get to that in a second. So after that, I met back up with Boland. Teddy came. We all hung out. We had dinner and stuff. It was really nice. But then Friday, the next day, I was leaving. So Teddy did take me to the airport, and I went from Florence to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Atlanta, and Atlanta home. And I got home around midnight. Now, when I was flying, when I was going from Amsterdam to Atlanta, that was about a 9-hour flight, which was fine until like the last hour or two. I noticed that like my throat was getting a little scratchy, and like I felt like I was getting sick, and I was like, oh no. So here I am in Atlanta, in the fucking worst designed airport I've ever been in Atlanta, trying to find my next flight. I had to go through customs and then tried to find my next flight, and I'm like getting sick. And then I take the flight from Atlanta to back here, and I could tell the whole way I'm like getting sick and stuff. So I got home that night and I was feeling awful. And then I spent the next couple days down, you know, just in bed. And I was like, well, thank God I like got sick after I got home. Well, it had been a few days and I hadn't gotten better. I thought maybe I just had the flu or something. I hadn't gotten better, which was not common for me. And I went to the doctor the other day, and turns out I have COVID. So I am a week out from that at this point. Today I feel okay. I have energy. I'm still congested, and I haven't had my taste isn't back yet, which is why I haven't had any of my coffee, because I don't want to waste my coffee if I can't fucking taste much right now. So yeah, I did immediately get COVID, which is why it's taken me a minute to even do this editorial. So, but yeah, that was my trip to Italy. A lot of fun, great experience. I loved it. I want to thank Teddy for like giving me this chance to like have an experience like that, you know, and it was something that it was like one of the best trips I've ever had in my life. It was so great, and now I feel like I'm open to like traveling abroad more than I used to be. So who knows where I will go next, but yeah, I will be working on the TurboZone 10th anniversary stuff. That is in the works. It may be pushed out till the beginning of October, depending on how much time I need. I'm not going to rush it, but that is what I'm working on. And I also want to do a video on I have been playing the new Shinobi game, Art of Vengeance. I got that as soon as I got back. And I want to do a video on that. Because I have a lot to say about it. So, I'm back. I'm going to be working on stuff. Thanks for watching this long editorial where I ramble about my vacation. This is what they call content on the internet. I think me and Teddy filmed a little outro, so take it away, guys.
Hey!
Hey!
Going back to the airport.
What up, Turbo Squad?
What's up, Turbo Heads?
Geeks and Gummers.
Yeah. Can you do like an Italian one?
Hey, tutto Geeks and Gamers.
There you go. My trip is
always being interrupted.
Your car's beeping. We're gonna die. Okay, there it goes. My trip is over. I'm about to head back to Kentucky. Teddy, did you have fun?
Oh my God, this was maybe one of the best times of my life.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
I'm not just saying that either. You know, I got married.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Focus on the road. Yeah.
It was a good run.
Yeah, you get married. We had some great food. I met some great people. We had some fun. You know, the bachelor party was a hit. Yeah, it was fantastic. So
I'll keep talking, but just not look at the camera.
that's fine. So yeah, you know, this was my first, and I'm sure I've said it in this fucking editorial previous, you know, points, but this is my first time out of the country, and yeah, it was a positive experience for me. So, you know, I'd be down to do more like international trips eventually. So
BioPhoenix, Legend Leo.
Oh no, the Canada trip. The 51st state.
What's up, Canadians? What's up, Terry?
When I was flying in went over through Paris, I messaged Terry and I said that I flew over his house, and I waved at him.
Is that what you circled in the picture?
No, I circled the Eiffel Tower because I could see it, but it was very far away.
Yeah,
I had to squint.
Yeah, I just thought Terry might live there.
Oh, yeah, he might. He might live in the Eiffel Tower.
We don't know.
Yeah. So so.
You want to show him the view? Just on the drive.
Sure. Yeah. Your window's a little dirty, but it's fine.
Don't ask why.
Don't ask why.
Just accept it.
Yeah, great. It's beautiful out here, yeah.
Even dirty.
Even dirty. So yeah, thanks for watching this editorial. This is where I've been for a while here, so that's why I haven't done any content. I'm busy.
Yeah, man. And Turbo Heads, Alex is my best man, and he came through. He delivered. He delivered an incredible speech just for me at the wedding, and he stood there by my side as my partner in crime. Thank you, Alex.
No problem. I was honored.
Yeah.
Honored.
And this was also coincidentally our 10-year anniversary of collaborating on YouTube and just being friends overall.
Yeah.
Not a lot of my friendships have made it 10 years, so cheers to our 10-year, buddy.
Yeah, man. I wish we had a drink, but you're driving. So
Yeah.
we can't.
Maybe we'll get back.
I did too much drinking on this trip.
You and me both, bud.
I don't think I'm going to be drinking for a little while.
Yeah. That's good on you.
But yeah, it's great. And if anybody that attended or I met along my travels is watching this, because I know I handed out the channel to a few people. Thanks for making my trip more memorable, and showing me a great time. Because I had a fantastic time. So,
Good.
yeah. Anything you want to close out on?
Well, maybe in Italian, to all the Italians out there, as they say, have a great day, and a curse? No? I'm asking you. Can I curse in Italian or something?
Oh, I don't know.
You crazy people. Have a great day.